Hello, dear friends. Welcome to our channel, Mechanical Engineering Made Simple. Okay, boys, how are you doing? You're all doing well. Till yesterday, what we have discussed point defects and line defects. Today, we are going to see one more important concept related with the deformation. Okay, like your screw dislocation, etc. That is your Burgers vector. What is Burgers vector? Let us see. A Burgers vector is the vector which defines the magnitude and direction of slip. If the Burgers vector and the orientation of the dislocation line are known, then the dislocation is completely described. So, if you know the direction of the Burgers vector, we can clearly describe the dislocation. That's what he is trying to say. But before that, we have heard a term called slip. What is slip basically? So, let us see what is slip. So, if a tangential force is applied on the lattice, then the top planes will move with respect to the bottom atomic planes, known as the displacement of atoms, and this is also known as the slip phenomenon. For example, if you are applying a tangential force to the lattice, what is lattice? It is the arrangement of atoms in the space with repeated patterns occurring in the space, right? So, if you are applying a tangential force on the lattice, then atomic planes will move with respect to bottom planes. So, top planes will move with respect to the bottom planes, and this motion is called the slip of top plane atoms over the bottom plane atom. This is called slip. So, now let us come back to the Burgers vector. So, now during the moment on the lattice, if the starting point and closing circuits are same, then the magnitude of Burgers vector is 0. So, it is something like starting at the same point and reaching at the same point, something like a displacement, right? If you go from some place to another place and again coming back to the same place, so your displacement is 0. Similarly, here also during the moment on the lattice, if the starting point and closing points are the same, then the magnitude of Burgers vector is 0. So, Burgers vector is represented by B bar modulus. If it is 0, then the atom is the material is defect free, or the defect free lattice. If B bar modulus is equal to 1, it shows the line defect, and B bar modulus is greater than 1, it shows the line defect. So, B bar is equal to 1 shows the point defect, and greater than 1 it shows the line defect. So, that is what he is trying to say. Now, here an edge dislocation lies. So, now he is comparing the edge dislocation and screw dislocation. So, what are the comparisons between the edge dislocation and screw dislocation as far as your Burgers vector is concerned? And edge dislocation is lies perpendicular to its Burgers vector, whereas screw dislocation lies parallel to the Burgers vector. And edge dislocation moves in the direction of the Burgers vector, slip direction. So, because the Burgers vector is parallel to the perpendicular to the slip, so your edge dislocation moves in the direction of the Burgers vector, slip direction. Burgers vector and slip direction are both same, and whereas the screw dislocation moves in the slip plane in a direction perpendicular to the Burgers vector. So, that is what we can infer from this. And now we will come to the deformation of metals. Metals or alloy get deformed when they are stressed, and deformation causes in the dimensions. You know that whenever you are applying the load on any material or the metal or alloys, they get deformed because of the load applied, and because of the fact subjected to stress. Stress always results in strain, which is nothing but your deformation. The deformation of metals is of two types. One is the elastic deformation, second one is the plastic deformation. We have already come across this, all those things, basic things like stress by strain is Young's modulus, and stress is proportional to strain within the elastic material. And when the load is removed on the material, the material is going to regain its original shape and size. This is called your elastic deformation. And plastic deformation is a permanent deformation which remains even after the deformation of the load, deforming load is removed. That means the deformation whatever is experienced by the material is retained. So, in the elastic deformation, the deformation is regained, and in the plastic deformation, the deformation is retained. So, these two are the key terms. When the stress in the metal specimen crosses the elastic limit, the specimen gets deformed permanently. So, here the criteria is that the stress should go beyond the elastic point or yield point, then only the material will enter into the plastic region, and it will get deformed plastically or permanently. This deformation is called plastic deformation, and causes this is going to result in the distortion of the crystal structure. So in the elastic deformation there is no distortion of the crystal structure, because after the removal of the load its original crystal structure is retained, but whereas regained. Okay, so whereas in the plastic deformation it is a crystal structure is distorted permanently, that means the plastic deformation is retained. Plastic deformation plays a vital role in metal shaping process. For example, in drawing, forging, bending, extrusion, stamping, and all these are rolling operations. They are some of them are cold working operations and some of them are hard working operations. Working means okay, deforming the material above the elastic limit. That means that is called your plastic deformation. So these are the some of the operations: forging, bending, extrusion, stamping, and rolling. So now what are the mechanism of the plastic deformation? There are two mechanisms are there in practice, that is plastic deformation by slip and plastic deformation by twinning. If the so that's we have just now seen plastic deformation by slip. When you apply the load, the top plane atoms move over the bottom plane atoms with respect to the bottom plane atoms, and this is known as the slip, and this will result in plastic deformation. Here the entire plane of atoms are moving, hence, and it is called the line defect or plane defect. For example, forging process in the materials. Next thing is, in the when a material is operated at low temperatures, the slip phenomenon is difficult, but when operated at high temperatures it will be easy, because whenever the temperature is high, it is going to result in the deformation. This is called thermal deformation. Okay, it will aid in the deformation of the materials, the temperature. Okay, so displacement of atomic planes is easy when the temperature is applied on a material. So hence plastic stain can be produced. The shape change will be easy when materials are subjected to temperature or thermal stress. So plastic deformation by twinning. So now here in the earlier case you applied the force tangentially to the atomic planes, but here in the plastic deformation by twinning, when you are applying a force with an angle, okay, to the lattice, a single lattice splits into two identical lattices, sub lattices. These are known as twinning phenomenon. With respect to the plane of force, so we can easily observe here I and I dash are the mirror images. They are called the twins. In this phenomenon, it is the atomic planes will undergo displacement in a particular direction. So here in the earlier case it was parallel. Okay, top plane atoms are moving with respect to the bottom plane atoms, but here the movement of atomic planes will be in a particular direction. Twinning is also a slip phenomenon limited to particular atomic planes. For example, superconductivity of materials. Here in this plastic deformation by twinning is observed. Superconductivity of materials, zero electrical resistance in materials. Normally all the materials have resistance, some resistance, because of which they conduct the electricity, but when it comes to superconductive materials, the resistance is approximately is zero, is almost zero. They are called superconducting materials. So we can see here in the diagram before deformation what is the arrangement of atoms of plane of atoms, and what is the arrangement of atomic planes after the deformation. So you can easily observe that they are at some angle. Now basic differences between the slip and twinning. So let us see the basic difference between slip and twinning. Slip is a line defect, but whereas twinning is a surface defect, grain boundary defect. During slip, all the atoms in a block move same distance, but during twinning, the atoms in each successive plane in a block move through different distances proportional to their distance from the twinning plane. Slip is commonly observed in BCC and FCC metals, but twinning is commonly observed in HCP metals. So this is a very important point to be noted. Normally slip is observed in BCC and FCC metals, body centered cubic metals and face centered cubic metals, but twinning is normally observed in HCP metals. For example, zinc. What is HCP? HCP means hexagonal close packed materials, metals. Now after the slip, the crystal axis remains the same in case of slip, but whereas after the twinning, the crystal axis gets deformed. The slipped crystal lattice has the same orientation, but the twinned crystal lattice is the mirror image of the original lattice. So in the earlier diagram we have seen that the stress required for slip is comparatively low, but whereas the stress required for twinning is comparatively more. The stress necessary to propagate slip is usually higher than the stress required to start slip, but the stress necessary to propagate twinning is lesser than that required for starting it. Once starting, it is easy. Okay, you can easily observe that twinning is easy once it is started, but slip is difficult once it is started. Now, the slip can be seen as thin lines when viewed under the microscope, but twinning can be seen as broad lines when viewed under a microscope. For slipping to occur, a threshold value of stress called critical resolved shear stress is required. So, we have earlier seen that what is CRSS, right? That is called critical resolved shear stress. That is means it is the shear stress above which the slipping is going to occur. This is called critical resolved shear stress or threshold stress. But whereas for twinning to occur, no such threshold value of shear stress is required. So these are the basic differences between the slip and twinning. So kindly remember, in this video we have completed the Burgess vector, which is related to your deformation of the materials, and also we have seen mechanism of plastic deformation, like plastic deformation by slip and plastic deformation by twinning. Okay boys, so we have seen all the differences between the slip and twinning, and in the next video we are going to study or see the answers for the objective questions on this total chapter. This chapter is the in this particular chapter what we have studied, we have studied the imperfections, crystal imperfections in the metal crystals. So we will discuss the approximately 50 questions in the next video, 23 questions on this particular chapter. So boys, if you have not subscribed, once again my request, I have started my channel Mechanical Engineering Made Simple very recently, say before just 4 months back. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment and share and among your friends through Facebook, WhatsApp and your all other social media platforms like your Instagram, Twitter, etc. also. So among your groups and contacts also, we will be studying many topics. In the next in the line is our next phase diagrams. We are going to become thorough with the phase diagrams. What are the phase diagrams, how they are constructed, what is the phase diagram for steel, which is very important phase diagram as far as our mechanical engineering subject is concerned. And then we will go for your heat treatment, and probably in the last we will see the difference between the steel sign cast irons, which are very important chapters as far as your material science and engineering materials is concerned. Okay boys, so please share among your friends, and don't pause the video, see the video till the end and press the bell icon for your updated new videos on all the subjects. We are going to discuss the topics and topic by topic by for all the subjects, and first we will see the theory part and then discuss number of bits, maybe thousands of bits are available. So we will discuss them, we will analyze them, and so that you will become strong in your mechanical engineering subject and you can face any exam and any interview, private, government or corporate, with confidence, and your selection is guaranteed. Okay boys, wish you all the best, good luck. Once again we will meet in the next video.